Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Celtic Way YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody who's joined us thus far in all of the YouTube videos that we do. And thank you in particular to our members who will be getting this video straight away as soon as I've finished recording this. This is the latest in my latest series of tactical analysis pieces based around Celtic and all things Celtic and StatsBomb related. As always, you can check out the StatsBomb report that's available on the website by subscribing at www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. And if you want to become a member, hit that join button on a desktop and you will receive early video access, priority comments, and exclusive members chat function that's running at the bottom of the screen right now. If you want to support our work just that little bit more, press that join button, £2.99, and you'll get videos like this completely straight away, absolutely instantly. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about Reo Hatate and specifically his game against St Mirren on Sunday afternoon. Now, he was arguably man of the match statistically and through watching the game through your own eyes, basically. There was a lot of talk about Matt O'Riley before the game. Obviously, Matt O'Riley has moved on to pastures new at Brighton and Hove Albion in the English Premier League. But Reo Hatate, everybody was seemed to be talking about the midfielder after the game. It was a really good midfield performance for all three midfielders that played, and Paulo Bernardo, Callum McGregor and Reo Hatate, but it was Hatate that really did stand out, and that was definitely the case in the statistics as well. So if I just bring this up, I think the first thing to look at is, Celtic haven't scored any goals with their actual forwards this season. Discounting, except if you discount Daizen Maeda's 2 goals for Celtic in the Premier Sports Cup against Hibs at home last week. Their actual forwards, with Kyogo Furuhashi and Adam Ida, still haven't been able to break their goal scoring duck this season, despite playing. Adam Ida started the last game and Kyogo started the past few as well, the first two. Then Daizen Maeda played as that. He usually plays as a left winger. But I think what's quite important to see is the fact that the midfielders and the wingers are taking shots. Reo Hatate had 4 shots on goal with an XG of 0.24. Daizen Maeda had 3 at 0.28. Alistair Johnson at 3 with 0.25 XG. James Forrest at 2 and Adam Ida with 2 as well. So Adam Ida still is getting shots away. Kyogo did get a couple of shots away when he came onto the park, but Reo Hatate was really the main danger man for Celtic against St Mirren. And the reason I wanted to talk about Reo Hatate today was there's been a lot of talk about Matt O'Riley, and he's obviously left the club, and maybe Reo Hatate thinks that he could have been that player that left the club to go down south and potentially go to Brighton. Obviously, his international teammate in Kaoru Mitoma plays for Brighton. They played with each other at Kawasaki Frontale, the team that Celtic signed Hatate from. But it's Matt O'Riley that's made that move down south. Reo Hatate has had those injuries, and he needs to show some consistency in his injury track record before any of the bigger teams down south or some of the big Premier League teams down south take a punt on him. There has been links in the past with teams like Leicester City, etc., but they haven't came to fruition as of yet, which is good news for Celtic, especially in the midfield area. So if I just bring up the passing network from Sunday's game, you can see in particular that 2 players had standout games. This is an on-ball value. The redder the warmer the colour, the better the OBV volumes for the player. And as you can see, at the right back position and in the centre mid position, Alistair Johnson, Reo Hatate respectively had the best numbers. Hatate did have the best statistical numbers as well between both sides and on ball value. So it does show just how important he was in Celtic playing well in Paisley at the Smizer Stadium against St Mirren. If you have a look at this is to do with being on the ball as well, and his key passing. Reo Hatate had 5 key passes, which was 2 more than any other player on the pitch. Between both sides, it was Celtic the main beneficiaries of key passes, but St Mirren had a couple as well. But Hatate had 5 at a combined XG of the 5 passes at 0.53. Nicholas Kuhn had 3, which just goes to show you how big an impact he had coming off the bench. Paulo Bernardo had 2, Callum McGregor had 2, and James Forrest. So the midfield, you had 2, 4, and then 9 key passes coming from the centre of midfield in that game. But Reo Hatate was by far the best contributor in key passes. If I just get on to this, Hatate's shot was a thing of beauty. It was probably the highlight of the day for Celtic's attacking play. It was good play from the other OBV beneficiary in Alistair Johnson, who played a lovely ball out to Daisen Maeda, Hatate's countryman. He headed it down. Hatate then he sliced the ball into the back of the net, the back of the St Mirren net, as you can see, or maybe you can't see because the numbers are quite small at the bottom. The original XG of that shot was 0.11, so it does show how difficult a shot it was for Hatate to take on, but his post-shot XG was 0.96, which then goes to show you how well he did take that. The goalkeeper's position meant that he had absolutely no chance. The fact it was hitting off the post made it so difficult for the goalkeeper to make any sort of save, couldn't get near it. Celtic were 2-0 up, and Hatate was purring. You can see it in his celebration after the goal. He seems like a man that's very happy to be at Celtic and to be one of the main men in midfield at the moment. So that's good to see from a Celtic point of view. Yeah, just in general, it was a really good performance from the midfielder, and it's definitely something for him to work on over the next few games or so. What's good is that he's shown that level, and he can play that level. You know, he came into the team in 2022, and he instantly made an impact. Remember, on his debut, get man of the match against Hibs at home. This is the same game in which Daisen Maeda scored in his debut, which was a real sort of watershed moment for Ange Postecoglou's side. He's had his ups and downs. The ups being scoring 2 goals against Rangers in his Glasgow Derby debut, scoring against Hearts at Tynecastle, one of his first away games, if not his first away game, if I remember correctly. He's had those ups, he's had the downs. You know, he didn't have the greatest start to last season. Brendan Rodgers preferred to have David Turnbull in there for the first couple of games. He got the nod in the second half against Aberdeen in the second game of the season, and then picked up an injury. So he had that up and down. He's had good performances in Europe. We've seen it before, particularly against Real Madrid and Leipzig and Shakhtar Donetsk. When he was playing under Ange Postecoglou. But there's always been that question mark on whether or not he can get to that level under Brendan Rodgers. And the signs are all positive that Hatate can get to that level and maybe even improve and become more disciplined as he gets older, because he's 26, turning 27 very, very soon. And he's not a young player anymore. He's a young player by all accounts, because he's had he went to college and university, and he didn't make his professional debut until he was 21, 22 years old. So he is a young footballer in terms of mileage, but in terms of age, he's getting into his prime. You would expect him to really kick on in the next few years. Hopefully that's at Celtic. You're hoping he has that breakout season. And just going by all of these statistics and top shooting, top 5 shooters, he's at the top of his game, top 5 key passers as well. The shot that he had against St Mirren for the second goal, and of course the passing network. It does go to show that Reo Hatate is very much on top of his game, and on top of his game at the right time too. He's coming up against Rangers next week. Celtic look as if they're going to be making multiple signings in the midfield area. Arne Engels looks like that could be a done deal very, very soon, as well as being linked to Matthias Bogut's. But Hatate is there. He's there to fight for his place alongside Paulo Bernardo, Odin Thiago Holm, the captain, Callum McGregor, and other players too. You know, you've got Francis Turley coming into the team as well. So it's a very healthy position for Celtic, but Hatate has shown that he is up for the fight and he's up for the battle of being that midfielder, being that dynamic, almost majestic midfielder in the middle of the park. Anybody that's watched any of the videos, any of the morning briefings that we do on the show, know that I personally am quite a big fan of the player. I think when he plays well, then Celtic automatically play well as a result of that. He makes things tick. I've called him the metronome in the middle of the park. And judging by his performance against Kilmarnock, especially in the first day of the season, and the game against St Mirren on Sunday, he looks well within his a good season. Looks well within his reach going forward for the Japanese international. He's been in and out of the Japan team, like his countryman Kyogo, who seems to have not been called up in quite a few both tournaments and international squads. But Hatate seems to be one of these players that is going to make that breakthrough into the Japan team and not really look back. He had those injuries in the Asia Cup at the start of the year, but hopefully that is the end of his injury issues and he can really kick on internationally and domestically at Celtic and in the European stage as well, which is somewhere that he's really thrived upon in the past 2-3 years or so. So yeah, that's just been a quick video talking about Reo Hatate, talking about how influential he can be at Celtic. And it just goes to show you how good his performance was at St Mirren as well. I'll be back with another one of these videos after every single game that's available on StatsBomb, whether that be on in the European stage or domestically as well. Just a quick shout out. You can support our work and everything that we do by joining the YouTube members channel for £2.99 per month. You'll receive early video access, priority comments, and exclusive members chat functions. Thank you very much, everybody. Please keep a lookout on all the videos that we're doing, whether that be morning briefings, tactical analysis, Q&A videos coming from both players and manager. And yeah, it's a very busy place on the Celtic Way YouTube. So there's something for absolutely everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all guys on the next one.